I stand at my dining room table, surrounded by 70 guests. I just presented Derek with the keys to a custom Range Rover worth $400,000. My son raises his champagne glass, and instead of thanking me, he announces loudly, "A toast to the foolish mother who tries to buy love like buying bread at the bakery." The room erupts in laughter. I feel every eye on me, see my son's smirk, his wife Amber's satisfied smile. I set down my glass, stand, smile calmly, and walk out. My heels click against the hardwood floor as I walk through my waterfront estate. Behind me, the laughter continues, echoing through the halls like a physical thing that follows me, mocking. My hands shake as I reach the coat closet in the entryway. I grab my jacket, fumble with the sleeve. The cool Seattle night air hits my face when I step outside, and I gasp like I've been holding my breath underwater. I make my way to my Mercedes, parked away from the circular drive where all the other cars are lined up. Guest cars, party cars, cars belonging to people who just watched my son humiliate me and laughed about it. I slide into the driver's seat and sit in the darkness, engine off, hands gripping the steering wheel. What just happened? The question loops in my mind. Derek wasn't always like this. When did my son become someone who would say something so cruel in front of so many people? I raised 3 children. Derek is the eldest, 40 years old today. My daughter Tracy is 38, lives in Portland with her husband and 2 kids. My younger son Jordan is 35, works in finance in Boston. But Derek has always been different. Entitled, yes. Demanding, certainly. But never this publicly vicious. My late husband Gerald built a tech manufacturing company from nothing, started in our garage 35 years ago, grew it into an enterprise that employs 300 people. When he died 5 years ago, he left me controlling shares, 51%. Derek got 25%. Tracy and Jordan got smaller portions. But the control was mine. Gerald trusted me with his legacy. I need my purse. The thought cuts through my spiral. I left it in the study, and I need my phone, my keys to the townhouse. I can't just drive away. I take a breath, get out of the car, and walk around the side of the house toward the smaller entrance. The voices from the party are muffled now, a dull roar of conversation and music. Then I hear something else. Voices coming through the open study window. I stop, hand on the doorknob. "Did you see her face?" Derek's voice. "God, that was perfect. You were brilliant. Amber. Now she'll be too embarrassed to show her face at the board meeting Thursday." My heart stops. "Exactly," Derek says. "Once she's rattled enough, she'll sign those proxy papers. Then I'll have control of Dad's company without her interfering. And once you're chairman, we can finally sell to TechCorp like they've been begging. $30 million payout, baby." I press myself against the wall, legs weak. "She has no idea I've been negotiating for 6 months, Derek continues. "She thinks I actually work at that company. I just show up for appearances." Amber laughs. It's a sound I've heard 1,000 times, at family dinners, birthday parties, holidays. Now it sounds like nails on glass. "Your mother's so desperate for your approval, she'd believe anything. That car stunt was just to butter her up before the vote." The car. The $400,000 Range Rover. 2 months ago, Derek suggested it. Said it would mean so much to him. Said he'd always dreamed of that exact model. I thought I was giving him something he wanted. I thought I was being a good mother. I stumble backward, hand over my mouth. The world tilts. This wasn't just tonight's cruelty. This was calculated, planned. Months of manipulation. He suggested the car himself. then used my gift as ammunition to humiliate me. And why? To rattle me before a board meeting, to make me so upset, so embarrassed that I'd sign over control of Gerald's company, so he could sell it, destroy everything Gerald built, put 300 people out of work, collect his $30 million, and walk away. I make it back to my car somehow. My hands shake so badly I can barely get the key in the ignition. I drive. I don't remember the drive. One moment I'm at the estate. The next I'm pulling into the garage of my townhouse in Queen Anne. This is where I actually live. The estate was just for the party, just for show, just like everything else. I sit in my car in the dark garage for a long time. My mind races. The board meeting is Thursday, 3 days away. Derek needs me to sign proxy papers that would give him my voting rights. With my 51%, plus his 25%, he'd have complete control. He could do whatever he wanted, but I won't sign. Now that I know, I won't sign. I'll call my attorney first thing in the morning. Howard has been our family lawyer for 20 years. He'll know what to do. And the car. The transfer hasn't been finalized yet. The dealership still has the vehicle. I can revoke the gift. I won't reward Derek's cruelty. I finally go inside, climb the stairs to my bedroom. I fall asleep planning my countermove, feeling a sense of power returning. I'm taking back control. Derek thought he could manipulate me, humiliate me, use me. But I heard everything. I know his plan. And I'm going to stop him. Thursday morning sun streams through my bedroom window. I barely slept, but I'm wide awake. Energized even. I have a plan. I shower, dress carefully in a navy suit. Business attire. I'm going to war. I call Howard at 8 o'clock sharp. He answers on the second ring. Denise, good morning. How was the party? Howard, I need to see you immediately. Can you meet me at your office in an hour? Something in my voice must alarm him. Of course. Is everything all right? No, but it will be. At Howard's office downtown, I sit across from his mahogany desk and tell him everything. The humiliation at the party. What I overheard through the study window. Derek's plan to force me to sign proxy papers, take control of the company, sell it to TechCorp for $30 million. Howard, 65 years old with silver hair and reading glasses perched on his nose, listens without interrupting. When I finish, he leans back in his chair. Denise, this is serious. If what you heard is accurate, Derek has been negotiating a sale behind the board's back. That's a breach of fiduciary duty. What can we do? First, we revoke the vehicle gift. You said the transfer hasn't been finalized. Right. The dealership still has it. Good. I'll file paperwork immediately. Second, you need to formally notify Derek in writing that you will not be signing any proxy papers and that you will be attending Thursday's board meeting personally to vote your own shares. Will that stop him? Howard hesitates. It will stop the immediate plan. But Denise, if you revoke the gift publicly, Derek might escalate. Men like him, when cornered, they fight back. I don't care. I'm done being manipulated. All right. I'll have the papers drawn up within the hour. I call Tracy next. My daughter answers cheerfully. Mom, hi. How are you feeling after last night? Tracy. I need to talk to you about your brother. I explain what happened. The toast, the humiliation, what I overheard. Tracy is silent for a long moment. Mom, that's awful. Derek's been acting so weird lately. Ever since Dad died, really. But I never thought he'd do something like this. I need you to know I'm fighting back. I'm revoking the car gift and refusing to sign the proxy papers. Good. You shouldn't let him treat you like that. I call Jordan next. My younger son, always the analytical one, listens carefully. Derek's always been a jerk, but this is next level, he says. What do you need from us? Just support. I might need you both to attend the board meeting Thursday. I'll fly in, Jordan says immediately. I've got your back, Mom. I hang up feeling stronger. My children support me. Howard is handling the legal aspects. By 10 o'clock, the paperwork is filed. The Range Rover gift is officially revoked. Howard has drafted a formal letter to Derek, stating that I will vote my own shares at Thursday's meeting. Howard delivers the letter personally to Derek's office at the company headquarters. I imagine Derek opening it, reading it, realizing I know everything. By noon, my phone rings. It's Tracy. She's crying. Mom, what did you do? My stomach drops. What do you mean? Derek just called me. He said you've had a mental breakdown, that you're making wild accusations about him, that you tried to take back his birthday gift because you're becoming paranoid and irrational. Tracy, that's not true. I told you what I heard. He said you'd say that. Mom, he sounded really worried about you. He said you've been forgetting things, getting confused. He said Dad's death hit you harder than anyone realized, and you're not processing it well. I'm not confused, Tracy. I heard him plotting with Amber. That's what Derek said you'd claim. But, Mom, you do seem really upset. Maybe you misheard something? Maybe you're under too much stress? I can't believe what I'm hearing. You don't believe me. I just think maybe you should talk to someone, a therapist or a doctor. Derek said he's worried about you driving alone making big decisions. He asked me to check on you. We hang up. I sit in my living room, stunned. Within hours of revoking the gift, Derek has called my daughter and convinced her I'm mentally unstable, that I'm paranoid, that I'm having a breakdown. 20 minutes later, Jordan calls. Same story. Mom, Derek just called. He's really worried about you. He said you accused him of some kind of conspiracy to sell Dad's company. Is that true? Jordan, I heard him. I was right there, outside the study window. Mom, you do seem really upset. And you did walk out of your own party. Derek said Dad left instructions that if you ever became, incapacitated, that Derek should take over the company. Is that true? Absolutely not. Your father trusted me completely. Okay. But, Mom, maybe you should see a doctor just to make sure everything's all right? You've been through a lot with Dad's death and this party incident, and now you're making these accusations. It's a lot. After we hang up, I sit in silence. Derek has moved fast, faster than I anticipated. He's preemptively discredited me to my own children, made me sound paranoid, unstable, grief-stricken. My phone rings again. Derek. I answer. What do you want? His voice is cold, nothing like the concerned son he played for Tracy and Jordan. You shouldn't have done that, Mother. Now this gets ugly. You don't scare me. I was trying to make this easy for you. Sign the papers, retire gracefully, spend time with your grandchildren. But if you want to fight, I'll fight, and I'll win. You won't. Everyone already thinks you're losing it. You walked out of your own party in front of 70 people. You're revoking gifts. You're hearing things, making wild accusations. How long before the board decides you're too unstable to vote? How long before your own children petition for guardianship because they're worried about you? My blood runs cold. This can end quietly, or it can end with you in a psychiatric evaluation, Mom. Your choice. He hangs up. I sit alone in my townhouse, afternoon light fading. I thought revoking the gift and refusing to sign would solve the problem. Instead, I've triggered Derek's backup plan. He's systematically turning my children against me, making me look mentally unstable before the board meeting. If the board thinks I'm unfit, they might vote to remove me from my position. Or worse, they might support Derek's claim that I'm incompetent. I tried to take control. Instead, I've walked directly into his trap. Thursday morning arrives too fast. I barely slept again. Today is the board meeting. I dress in a charcoal gray suit, pearl earrings Gerald gave me for our 30th anniversary. I need to look competent, strong, completely in control. My phone rings at 7 in the morning. Howard. Denise, we have a problem. Of course we do. What now? 3 board members called me this morning. All of them received concerned calls from Derek about your declining mental state. They're planning to call for a competency evaluation before any votes. They can't do that. Actually, they can. If enough board members believe you're not capable of making sound decisions, they can request an independent evaluation. It's in the bylaws. This is insane, Howard. I'm completely competent. I know. But Derek has planted seeds of doubt. We need to be prepared for this. At 9 o'clock, I arrive at company headquarters. The building Gerald built. 15 stories of glass and steel in downtown Seattle, views of Elliott Bay. I've been coming here for 30 years. I know every floor, every department. These people are family. But today, they look at me differently. In the lobby, I run into Marcus, one of our senior engineers. He's worked here for 20 years. Denise, good morning. Are you feeling all right? Derek mentioned you've been under stress. I'm fine, Marcus. Thank you. Good, good. Just, if you need anything, we're all thinking of you. Thinking of me. Like I'm sick. Like I'm fragile. The board meeting is in the 10th floor conference room. Floor-to-ceiling windows, long oak table, leather chairs. 8 board members are already seated when I arrive with Howard. Derek isn't here yet. Claire, 60 years old and sharp as a knife, nods at me. She's been on the board for 10 years, helped Gerald navigate some difficult decisions. She's one of the few people here I trust completely. The others are more neutral. Good people, but they don't know me as well. They know Derek, though. He's been CFO for 5 years. He comes to these meetings monthly, presents financial reports, schmoozes with board members. Derek arrives at 9:15 with Amber. They're dressed professionally. Derek in a dark suit, Amber in a cream dress. Derek's face is the picture of concern. Worried son. Dutiful child, looking out for his aging mother. I want to scream. The meeting starts. Routine business first. Quarterly financial reports. Derek presents, his voice smooth and confident. Numbers look good. Revenue up. Expenses down. Everything perfect. Then the chairman, Robert, clears his throat. Before we move to voting items, there's a matter we need to address. Here it comes. Several board members have expressed concerns about Denise's well-being. Given recent events, we think it might be prudent to postpone any major votes until we're certain everyone is in a position to make sound decisions. I stand. I have something to say. Robert nods. Of course. My son is trying to manipulate this board. He wants to sell this company to TechCorp. He's been negotiating behind all of our backs for 6 months. He humiliated me at a party specifically to rattle me before this meeting, hoping I'd be too upset to attend. His plan is to get control of my shares and sell my husband's legacy for $30 million. Gasps around the table. Robert looks at Derek. Is this true? Derek sighs. He actually sighs. Like I'm a difficult child and he's the patient parent. Mom, there's no deal with TechCorp. You're confused. I'm not confused. I heard you. This is exactly what I've been worried about. Derek looks around the table. She's making conspiracy theories, creating elaborate stories. I love my mother, but I'm genuinely concerned about her mental state. Claire speaks up. Actually, I've heard rumors about TechCorp sniffing around. Derek, have you had any contact with them? Derek shifts. Exploratory conversations. Nothing formal. It's my job as CFO to consider all opportunities. How much are they offering? I press. The room waits. It's preliminary. I haven't discussed specific numbers. 30 million, I say. That's the payout you mentioned to your wife. The energy in the room changes. Board members exchange glances. This isn't just a paranoid mother making accusations. This is specific, but Derek recovers quickly. This is exactly the problem. Mom overheard a private conversation, misunderstood it, and built an entire conspiracy theory. Maybe we should postpone this meeting until she's evaluated by a professional. Robert nods slowly. Perhaps that's wise. Just to ensure everyone is capable of making informed decisions, Howard stands. This is highly irregular and potentially illegal. You can't force a shareholder to undergo psychiatric evaluation. We're not forcing anything, Robert says. We're requesting, in the interest of good governance. The vote is called. Should Denise undergo a medical competency evaluation before retaining board voting rights? I watch hands raise. 5 in favor, 3 against. Claire votes against, along with 2 others who look uncomfortable with the whole situation. I'm given 1 week to complete a psychiatric evaluation or forfeit my voting proxy to Derek temporarily. The meeting ends. I'm numb. Howard tries to talk to me, but I barely hear him. Claire pulls me aside in the hallway. Denise, I believe you, but you need proof. Get that evaluation done and prove you're sound. Then we can investigate Derek properly. I nod, mute. That evening, Derek invites me to dinner. To clear the air, he says on the phone. Tracy and Jordan will be there. They both flew in. Part of me knows it's a trap, but I need to see my children. Need to explain everything face to face. The restaurant is upscale, private room in the back. When I arrive, Tracy and Jordan are already there with Derek and Amber. 4 against 1. Tracy hugs me. Mom, we're so glad you came. We sit, order drinks. The small talk is strained. Then Derek sets down his glass. Mom, we're all worried about you. Derek, don't. Please, just listen. We love you. We want what's best for you. This accusation about me trying to sell the company, about some conspiracy, it's not real. You're stressed. You're grieving. We think you should step back from the company for a while. Focus on your health. Jordan nods. Mom, Derek's been doing a great job as CFO. The company's in good hands. You don't need to carry this burden. Tracy reaches for my hand. We're not ganging up on you. We're trying to help, Amber adds. Denise, you've done so much. You deserve rest. Let Derek handle the business side. You can spend time with your grandchildren, travel, enjoy life. I look at my children. They genuinely believe they're helping me. Derek has been so thorough, so convincing. I'm the unstable mother who needs protection from herself. I try to explain. I heard Derek talking about selling the company. I was right there, outside the study window, after the party. Derek shakes his head sadly. Mom, Amber and I were joking. We were talking about how stressed you've been, how we wish you could relax. You misunderstood. You said 30 million. We were talking about a hypothetical scenario. Playing what if. You took it out of context. Tracy squeezes my hand. "Mom, please, just get the evaluation. Prove you're fine. Then everyone can relax." I leave the dinner alone, walk to my car in the parking garage, sit in darkness. I tried to confront Derek, expose him. Instead, I've had my own children stage an intervention. They think I'm paranoid, delusional, unstable. They think they're protecting me. Derek is winning. Friday morning, I meet Dr. Patricia Hendricks at her office in Bellevue. She's a forensic psychiatrist, 55 years old, recommended by the board's attorneys. Professional, clinical, impossible to read. The evaluation takes hours. Cognitive tests, memory assessments, questions about my mood, my sleep, my relationships. I try to stay calm, answer everything rationally, but I'm exhausted. Haven't slept properly in a week. My hands shake slightly when I hold the pencil for the written tests. Dr. Hendricks asks about my family. I tell her about Derek, trying to keep my voice steady, trying to sound reasonable, not emotional. But when I describe the birthday party, the humiliation, the betrayal, my voice cracks. Tears come. I can't stop them. She makes notes, asks more questions. How long have I felt this way? Do I often feel people are conspiring against me? Have I experienced paranoid thoughts before? The questions feel like traps. Every answer can be twisted. The evaluation ends. Dr. Hendricks tells me she'll compile her report and send it to the board and my attorney within 3 days. I drive home, feeling hollow. The weekend is a blur. I can't eat, can't sleep, can't think about anything except that evaluation. What if Dr. Hendricks thinks I'm unstable? What if the report gives Derek exactly what he needs? Tracy calls, but I don't answer. Jordan texts. I don't respond. I sit in my townhouse with the curtains drawn, alone with my thoughts. Gerald, I think. What would you do? How would you handle this? But Gerald isn't here. He's been gone for 5 years. And I'm facing this alone. Monday morning, Howard calls. His voice is grave. We got the evaluation results. I hold my breath. It's not good, Denise. The floor drops out from under me. Howard continues. Dr. Hendricks didn't find any major psychiatric disorder, but she noted significant stress, possible paranoid thinking regarding family members, emotional instability. Her recommendation is that you consider stepping back from high-stress business decisions temporarily. That's not what happened. I was calm, rational during the evaluation. I believe you, but the report gives Derek ammunition. It doesn't declare you incompetent, but it raises questions about your judgment. I sink onto my couch. What does this mean? It means Derek's case just got stronger. That afternoon, Howard calls again. His voice is even more serious. Derek filed for emergency conservatorship. What? He's seeking temporary conservatorship over your affairs, citing your erratic behavior, the psychiatric report, concern for your well-being. If granted, he'd control your assets, including your company shares. This can't be legal. I'm completely competent. We'll fight it. Hearing is scheduled for Friday. But Denise, conservatorships can be granted if there's evidence of impaired judgment. He's building a case. Over the next 2 days, through legal discovery, I learn what Derek has compiled. It's comprehensive, terrifying. Testimony from board members about my outburst at the meeting, the psychiatric report. Statements from Tracy and Jordan about concerns for my mental state. Photos from the birthday party showing me leaving abruptly. Testimony from party guests about my strange behavior. A timeline of my increasingly erratic decisions, including the irrational revocation of the vehicle gift. It's all there. A perfect case. I look unstable, paranoid, making wild accusations against my own son. Wednesday morning, Howard calls with something different in his voice. Denise, I've been reviewing company finances like you asked, preparing for the hearing, building our case, and there are irregularities. Serious ones. I sit up straight. What kind of irregularities? Over the past 2 years, money has been moving in unusual ways. Transfers to offshore accounts, consulting fees to shell companies. I'm tracking roughly $4 million that's unaccounted for. My heart pounds. Derek is the CFO. He has access to all accounts. Exactly. It appears Derek has been embezzling. Finally. Proof. Evidence that he's corrupt, that I'm not crazy, that everything I've said is true. This is it, Howard. This proves everything. We can expose him. Howard's silence is heavy. What? What's wrong? There's a problem. Legally, as CFO, Derek has authorization for these transactions. Without absolute proof of criminal intent, these transfers could be legitimate business expenses. Aggressive, unusual, but not necessarily illegal. But they're not legitimate. I know. But here's the trap. If you accuse him of embezzlement without absolute proof, it reinforces his claim that you're paranoid and making wild accusations. And if we're wrong, if there's any legitimate explanation for even some of these transfers, you look delusional. I understand. Derek has set this up perfectly. He's been stealing millions. But if I expose him without ironclad proof, I look crazier. If I stay silent, he continues to rob the company and gains control of my life. Either way, he wins. The hearing is in 2 days. I have evidence of embezzlement that I can't use. A psychiatric report that makes me look unstable. My own children ready to testify that I'm unfit. And a son who's orchestrated all of it. I'm trapped. Tuesday morning, my doorbell rings. I haven't showered. Haven't changed clothes since yesterday. I look through the peephole and see Tracy. I open the door. My daughter's face is worried, loving. Behind her stands Derek. My heart sinks. Mom, can we come in? I step aside. They enter my living room. Derek looks around, and I see it through his eyes. Curtains drawn, dishes in the sink, mail piled on the coffee table. I look like exactly what he's been telling everyone I am. Tracy sits next to me on the couch. Derek remains standing. Mom, Derek and I think you should voluntarily agree to the conservatorship. Tracy, please. He's manipulating you. Derek's voice is gentle, concerned. So perfectly concerned. Mom, we want what's best for you. You're under so much stress. Let me handle the business. You can rest, focus on your health, spend time with your grandchildren. I don't need rest. I need you to stop lying. See? Derek looks at Tracy. These accusations, this is exactly why we're worried. I turn to my daughter. Tracy, listen to me. Your brother has been stealing from the company. $4 million over 2 years. I have evidence. Derek sighs. More conspiracy theories. I have proof. My voice rises, shrill even to my own ears. He's been embezzling. He's been planning to sell the company. I heard him. Tracy's eyes fill with tears. Mom, please, just accept help. I don't need help. I need you to believe me. But she doesn't. I can see it in her face. She believes Derek. Her mother is falling apart, making wild accusations, spiraling into paranoia and delusion. Tracy leaves crying. Derek lingers at the door. You could have made this easy, he says quietly. Now everyone sees what I've been saying. Look at you. Look at this place. You're proving my case for me. After they leave, I sit in silence. I've lost my daughter. Wednesday, Jordan calls. Mom, I've been looking at the company finances like you asked. Hope flares. And I don't see anything wrong. Everything looks normal to me. Derek's doing a good job as CFO. The hope dies. But Howard found irregularities. Mom, I'm a financial analyst. This is literally what I do. I know how to spot embezzlement. There's nothing there. Jordan, please. I think you need to sign the conservatorship papers. I'll be co-conservator with Derek. We'll take care of everything. You won't have to worry. Both my children, both turned against me. Wednesday evening, desperate, I go through old files in my study, looking for anything, any evidence, any leverage. I find our estate planning documents. Start reading through them, something I haven't done since Gerald died. And there, in the trust documents, I discover something I'd forgotten. Gerald created an irrevocable trust. 20% of company shares are in trust for my grandchildren, Tracy's 2 kids. Those shares can't be voted until the children turn 25. But there's a provision. If the company is sold before then, those shares get liquidated and held in a different trust that Derek can't touch. This means if Derek sells the company, he only gets 80% of the payout. And I, as trustee for my grandchildren, have legal standing to block any sale that's not in their best interest. I call Howard immediately. This is good, he says, after reviewing the documents. But there's a problem. Of course there is. If Derek gets conservatorship over you, he becomes successor trustee. Then he'd control those shares too. So the hearing Friday matters even more. If I lose everything. The leverage is meaningless. Thursday morning, Howard calls again. We have another problem. I almost laugh. Another one. Dr. Hendricks has been called as a witness by Derek's attorneys. She'll testify about your paranoid thinking and emotional instability. Also, 3 board members will testify about your erratic behavior. And Denise, Tracy, and Jordan have agreed to testify that they're concerned about your judgment. My own children will testify against me. They think they're helping you. Can we win? Be honest. Howard is quiet for a long moment. With your own children testifying against you, and a psychiatrist's report, and multiple witnesses to your recent behavior, I have to be honest. It's going to be very difficult. Thursday afternoon, I sit alone in my townhouse. The hearing is tomorrow morning. I have no allies. My children believe Derek. The board thinks I'm unstable. Even my lawyer is losing confidence. I look at myself in the bathroom mirror. I've aged 10 years in 2 weeks. Dark circles under my eyes. Hair unwashed. Face drawn. I look exactly like someone who's having a breakdown. Maybe everyone is right. Maybe I am losing my mind. Maybe fighting is making everything worse. I think about just signing the papers, letting Derek have it all. At least then this nightmare would end. At least my children would stop looking at me with pity and fear. Thursday night, I can't sleep. I lie in bed staring at the ceiling. Tomorrow morning, a judge will decide if I'm competent to manage my own life. And the evidence suggests I'm not. I think about Gerald. Our 35 years together. How hard we worked. How much we sacrificed. Building something from nothing. He always said the truth always comes out. But what if it doesn't? What if Derek wins? Around midnight, I start crying. Really crying, for the first time since this began. Not just tears, but deep, wrenching sobs. Grieving not just the loss of control, but the loss of my son. The Derek I thought I knew. The family I thought I had. I cry until I have nothing left, until I'm empty, until the sun starts to rise on Friday morning. The hearing is in 4 hours. I could lose everything today. My autonomy, my company, my legacy, my dignity. I'm at rock bottom. The thought echoes, maybe I should just give up. But I don't give up. At 2 o'clock Friday morning, unable to sleep, I sit at my kitchen table with every company financial document I can find. I go through them again and again, looking for something, anything, a pattern, a mistake, proof. Around 3 in the morning, my eyes catch something. One of the consulting companies, Derek paid $300,000 to over 2 years. Cascade Advisory Solutions. I Google it. Registered in Delaware. Common for shell companies. But when I dig deeper through Secretary of State business filings, I find the registered agent. The name is Amber's maiden name. Amber Collins. My hands start shaking. I cross-reference other payments. Another company, Summit Consulting Group, is registered to someone named Philip Morales. I search that name. He's one of Derek's college friends. I've met him at family events. Another company, Peak Strategic Partners, uses the same business address as Derek's golf club. This isn't just embezzlement. It's a traceable pattern. A network of fake companies, all connected to Derek or people close to him. I call Howard at 3 in the morning. I found it. I can prove everything. Howard, groggy, listens as I explain the connections, the registered agents, the addresses, the names. This is good, Denise, but the hearing is in 6 hours. I need time to verify this. Get documentation. Build a case. I'll send you everything. We can do this. I email him every document, every screenshot, every connection I've found. Then I shower, dress in my best Navy suit, do my makeup carefully. I look tired, but I look determined. Howard calls at 7 in the morning. I've verified 3 of the shell companies. The connections are solid. This is real embezzlement, provable fraud. But Denise, Derek's team will fight hard. They'll say, "You're making desperate accusations." Let them. The evidence speaks for itself. At the courthouse, I arrive with Howard at 8:30. The hearing is at 9. We walk through the marble hallways, our footsteps echoing. Then I see Claire from the board. She's walking toward us. My stomach drops. Another witness against me? But Claire approaches with purpose. Denise, I'm here to testify. Against me? For you. I stare at her. Claire explains. 6 months ago, Derek approached me about supporting a sale to Tech Corp. He offered me a consulting fee if I voted his way, $50,000. He tried to bribe you? He did. I turned him down and documented everything. I didn't say anything at the board meeting because I wasn't sure you were right. But after that meeting, I started investigating. I found irregularities too, different ones from what you found, but they confirmed my suspicions. I'm here to support you, my first ally in 2 weeks. The hearing room is formal. Wood paneling, high ceilings. Judge Margaret Thornton presides, 65 years old, silver hair, sharp eyes that miss nothing. Derek's team presents first. His attorney is polished, expensive. He calls Tracy to testify. My daughter takes the stand, and I watch her describe her concerns. How I've been paranoid, making wild accusations against Derek, showing signs of instability. She talks about the birthday party, how I walked out, the revoked gift, the conspiracy theories. She sounds genuinely worried, genuinely loving. She thinks she's saving me. Jordan testifies next. Same story. Their mother is struggling, making poor decisions, needs protection. He talks about the financial records, how he reviewed them and found nothing wrong, how my accusations seem baseless. Dr. Hendricks testifies about my evaluation. Significant stress, possible paranoid thinking, emotional instability. Her recommendation that I step back from high-stress decisions. Derek's attorney rests his case. The evidence against me is damning. Then Howard stands. Your Honor, we'd like to call our first witness, Claire Donovan. Claire takes the stand. She testifies about Derek's attempted bribery, the offer of $50,000 to vote for a sale to TechCorp, how she documented it, saved emails and text messages. Derek's attorney objects. This is irrelevant to the question of Mrs. Denise's competency. Judge Thornton considers. I'll allow it. It speaks to motive and character. Howard continues. He presents the financial evidence, documents showing shell company payments, the connections to Amber, to Derek's friends, to suspicious addresses, the pattern of embezzlement. Derek's attorney argues, this proves nothing about conservatorship. If anything, it shows Mrs. Denise is too trusting and needs protection from financial manipulation. It's a clever argument, trying to turn the evidence against me. Then, Howard calls me to the stand. I'm nervous. My hands shake as I'm sworn in, but once I start talking, the words flow. I tell the whole story. The birthday party, the humiliation, what I overheard through the study window, Derek and Amber's conversation about manipulating me, selling the company, the $30 million payout, my discovery of the embezzlement, my children's manipulation. I'm calm, clear, rational, nothing like the unstable woman Derek described. Under cross-examination, Derek's attorney is aggressive. Isn't it true you've been under significant stress? Yes. Isn't it true you walked out of your own party? Yes. After my son publicly humiliated me. Isn't it true you're making serious accusations against your son without definitive proof? I'm making accusations I can prove, and I'm competent to manage my own affairs. Your own children are here testifying that they're worried about you. Are they lying? They're mistaken. They've been manipulated. The attorney sits down, looking satisfied, making me sound paranoid even in my own defense. Then Howard stands. Your Honor, one more thing. He presents phone records. Derek's phone records, subpoenaed by our attorneys. Dozens of calls between Derek and TechCorp executives over 6 months. Proof that he's been negotiating. And text messages between Derek and Amber from the night of the party. Howard reads them aloud. Amber. She totally bought it. You're brilliant. Derek. Phase 2 starts tomorrow. The courtroom is silent. Judge Thornton calls a recess to review evidence. I sit with Howard in the hallway. 30 minutes pass, then 45, an hour. Finally, we're called back in. Judge Thornton looks at both sides. I've reviewed all evidence and testimony. This is one of the more unusual conservatorship petitions I've encountered. My heart pounds so hard I can barely hear. The petitioner, Derek, has presented evidence of concerning behavior from his mother, Denise. However, the respondent has presented compelling evidence that her behavior was not the result of incompetence, but rather reasonable responses to discovering significant financial fraud and manipulation. I can barely breathe. Furthermore, the evidence suggests that the petitioner himself may have engaged in criminal conduct, including embezzlement and conspiracy, The petition for conservatorship is denied. Relief floods through me so intensely I nearly collapse. The judge continues. Additionally, I am referring this matter to the prosecutor's office for investigation of potential criminal charges against Derek. Derek goes pale. His attorneys huddle around him, whispering urgently. The hearing ends. I stand on shaky legs. In the courthouse hallway, everything feels surreal. Claire hugs me. Howard shakes my hand, actually smiling. Tracy and Jordan approach slowly, looking stunned. Tracy's eyes are red. "Mom, we didn't know. We thought we were helping you." I look at my daughter. I'm angry, hurt. They chose Derek over me. They testified against me in court. But they're also victims of his manipulation, just like I was. We need to talk. All of us. But not today. Jordan steps forward. Did Derek really steal from the company? Yes. And you'll see all the evidence. They leave, looking shell-shocked. The family they thought they knew, the brother they trusted, it's all been a lie. Claire walks with me to the parking garage. You did it. You actually did it. I couldn't have without you. What happens now? Now comes the hard part. Cleaning up the mess. In the parking garage, Derek corners me by my car. His mask has completely dropped. No more concern, son. Just rage. You have no idea what you've done. I stopped you from destroying your father's legacy. That company should have been mine. Dad promised me. Your father never promised you anything except the opportunity to earn it, and you failed. I worked there for 15 years. You showed up. You collected a salary. You stole millions. That's not work, Derek. That's parasitism. I'm your son. You were my son. The Derek I loved died a long time ago. Or maybe he never existed. Derek's face contorts. What are you going to do? Send me to prison? That's up to the prosecutors now. And up to you. I pause, looking at this man who used to be my little boy, who I held when he was born, who I taught to ride a bike, who turned into something I don't recognize. You have two options, Derek. Option 1. I cooperate fully with the investigation. You face embezzlement charges, fraud charges, possibly conspiracy. You could go to prison for years. He waits. Option 2. You resign from the company immediately. Today, you return every penny you stole. I have documentation of $4,200,000. You undergo therapy. Real therapy. Not just to avoid jail, but to figure out how you became this person. And you stay away from me, the company, and your siblings until you've proven you've changed. And if I choose option 2, I don't press charges. The company gets its money back. You get a chance to rebuild your life honestly, to maybe, someday, earn back a fraction of the trust you destroyed. Derek stares at me. You're serious? I'm done being the foolish mother who tries to buy love. But I'm not done being a mother. The choice is yours. But you have 24 hours to decide. I get in my car and drive away, leaving him standing alone in the parking garage. 2 months later, I stand before the company board. Derek resigned the day after the hearing. He signed papers, agreeing to repay every dollar through a structured settlement, $4,200,000 over 10 years. He moved to California. I hear he's working in retail management. I've appointed Claire as the new CFO. The company is stable, stronger even. TechCorp is no longer circling. Our employees kept their jobs. Gerald's legacy is preserved. The board votes to formally censure Derek and remove him from any future consideration for leadership positions. 3 board members who were too quick to doubt me have quietly resigned. 3 months later, Thanksgiving at my townhouse, I sold the waterfront estate. Too many bad memories. Tracy and Jordan are here with their families. Jordan's wife brought sweet potato casserole. Tracy's kids, my grandchildren, 8-year-old Emma and 6-year-old Lucas, play in the living room. The conversation is still sometimes awkward. Trust is rebuilding slowly. Tracy apologized a dozen times. Jordan, too. I've forgiven them mostly. They were manipulated. They thought they were protecting me. Derek is not here. He sent a letter 2 weeks ago. 5 pages, handwritten. An apology, an explanation, an acknowledgement of what he did and why. I haven't responded yet. Maybe someday I will. Maybe someday he'll prove he's really changed, but not today. After dinner, after everyone leaves, I sit alone in my living room. The house is quiet. I think about the $400,000 car, the birthday party, the toast that changed everything, a toast to the foolish mother who tries to buy love like buying bread at the bakery. Maybe I was foolish. Maybe I did try to buy love. For years, I gave Derek everything: money, opportunities, chances. I forgave bad behavior, excused entitled attitudes, smoothed over his mistakes. I thought if I gave enough, loved enough, sacrificed enough, he'd love me back. But love can't be purchased. Respect can't be bought. Gerald used to tell me something I didn't fully understand until now. Love isn't something you can purchase, Denise, but respect is something you have to demand. I spent years trying to win Derek's love by giving him things. I never demanded that he respect me, never set real boundaries, never held him accountable. I enabled his worst qualities because I was terrified of losing his affection. The humiliation at that party wasn't just Derek's cruelty. It was the natural endpoint of a pattern I'd allowed. I'd taught him, through years of gifts and forgiveness and second chances, that he could treat me however he wanted, that I'd tolerate anything to keep him close. The lesson isn't just about Derek's betrayal. It's about my own complicity, about the difference between loving someone and accepting their abuse, about the cost of trying to buy something that should be freely given. I open my journal, something I've started doing again. Gerald gave me this leather journal 20 years ago. I write, I gave my son a $400,000 car. He humiliated me in front of 70 people. What I did next changed everything. Not because I took revenge, not because I destroyed him, but because I finally stood up and said, I deserve respect. I learned that loving someone doesn't mean accepting their cruelty, that being a mother doesn't mean being a doormat, that protecting my late husband's legacy meant protecting it even from our own son. I lost the Derek I thought I had. Maybe I never really had him. But I found myself again. And I learned that peace doesn't come from giving people what they want. It comes from standing firm in your own worth. I close the journal and look out at the Seattle skyline. Lights twinkling in the darkness. The city Gerald and I built our life in. The city where we raised our children. The city where I learned the hardest lesson of my life. I'm 67 years old. I've been humiliated, betrayed, manipulated, isolated. My family is fractured. My son is estranged. The happy family photos on my mantle are relics of a past that maybe never truly existed. But I have my dignity, my company, my grandchildren, who will inherit something meaningful, and most importantly, my self-respect. The image that stays with me isn't Derek's cruel toast. It's my own reflection in the courthouse window after the judge's ruling, standing tall, head high, finally done being foolish, finally done trying to buy what should have been freely given, finally free. I learned something else too, about standing up to people you love, about fighting for what's right, even when it costs you everything, about the difference between conflict and abuse. Derek didn't just humiliate me that night. He'd been systematically using me, stealing from me, planning to destroy everything Gerald built, and I almost let it happen because I was too afraid of losing him. But you can't lose something you never really had. The Derek I loved, the son I thought I knew, he was an illusion. The real Derek was capable of calculated cruelty, and the real me, the woman I'd forgotten I could be, was capable of fighting back. That's what I want people to understand. When someone treats you cruelly, especially someone you love, you have a choice. You can accept it, make excuses, enable it, or you can stand up, set boundaries, demand better, even if it costs you the relationship, especially if it costs you the relationship. Because a relationship built on your tolerance of abuse isn't worth keeping. I thought setting boundaries would destroy my family. Instead, it saved what was left of it. Tracy and Jordan saw the truth. They learned you can love someone and still hold them accountable. My grandchildren will grow up knowing their grandfather's company was worth fighting for. And maybe, someday, Derek will learn that real love requires respect. But even if he doesn't, I'll be all right. Because I finally learned what I should have known all along. True love cannot be bought. Real respect must be earned through boundaries and self-worth. Enabling toxic behavior, even from those we love most, creates a pattern that will eventually destroy us. Sometimes the greatest act of love is standing up to those who hurt us, not to punish them, but to show them and ourselves that we deserve better. Dignity isn't found in what we give others. It's found in what we refuse to tolerate. I sit in the peaceful quiet of my home, and for the first time in months, I feel truly at peace. Not happy, exactly. Not healed, not yet, but peaceful, whole, like I've finally come home to myself. And that's worth more than all the cars in the world. Now, I want to ask you something. Have you ever been in a situation where someone you loved took advantage of your kindness? Where you gave and gave, hoping to earn their respect or affection? How did you handle it? Did you set boundaries? Or did you keep giving? Share your story in the comments below. I'd love to hear how you found your way back to your own self-respect. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button. It helps others find these stories and realize they're not alone in their struggles. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel. We share stories about overcoming family betrayal, finding strength in difficult times, and learning the hard lessons life teaches us. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Someone who's struggling to set boundaries with a difficult family member. Someone who's trying to buy love instead of demanding respect. Sometimes we all need a reminder that we're worth fighting for. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for being here, for taking the time to hear about the hardest period of my life. I hope my experience helps you in some way. I hope it reminds you that you're stronger than you think. That standing up for yourself isn't selfish. That loving someone doesn't mean accepting their cruelty. Take care of yourselves. Demand the respect you deserve. And remember, true love cannot be bought, but self-respect is priceless. Until next time.